Hi guys, Alberto here. You're watching the Bedroom Rocker YouTube channel, and today is going to be a talk-only video focusing on the main differences between the TC Electronic Plethora X1, X3 and X5, besides the obvious different number of foot switches. So you're going to go feature by feature and talk about how they are similar or different to help you make an informed decision about which one is for you. If you're looking for more sound samples or review videos, I've covered the X5 quite extensively in the channel in the past, and I'm preparing now a review demo video on the X1 as well, and all of this is going to be linked in the description box down below. So without further ado, let's go. Let's start with the basics. These are all TonePrint loader pedals, meaning that you can load any of TC Electronics TonePrint enable effects into them and play them just as if they were the regular pedals, for example the Hall of Chew reverb or the flashback delay. These are all modulation, reverb and delay effects, so you have no booster or drives, any gain pedals, no amp simulations, because these are really not the focus of the TonePrint nor the Plethora series. The effects are essentially the same between the three units. The only difference is that the X3 and the X5 have got the tape deck looper, so if looper is an essential feature for you, you can automatically exclude the X1. Then all of them have got the mesh foot switch, which is a pressure-sensitive foot switch that essentially works like an expression pedal. Now let's talk about the boards or presets, or basically the combination of effects that you can have available at the same time. The X3 and the X5 enables you to save up to 127 different boards, and you can switch between them using the foot switches. For the X1, you only have 7 boards available, and you need to use the rotary knob to switch between them, so you are a bit more limited in this sense. Then in terms of effects slots per board, with the X3 you have 3 slots, with the X5 you have 5 slots, and with the X1 you get kind of 2 slots, but there's a big but here. In order to have 2 slots with only one foot switch, you need to configure the foot switch into A/B mode, and if this is the case, you cannot use the foot switch for the mesh function or for the tap tempo, for example. So you kind of have to pick between having the one nice function in your foot switch or having this A/B mode. In terms of connectivity, the X1 uses the newer USB-C, while the X3 and the X5 uses the micro USB. They can all be connected to PC, Mac, Android and iOS, and using the Bluetooth to both Android and iOS. And the TonePrint app is available in all of these platforms for you to load TonePrints into the pedal. Here there's then a big difference. The X3 and the X5 enables you to load up to 75 TonePrints per effect slot. So these are TonePrints stored in the pedal that you can use the toggle switch to switch between them without using the TonePrint app. However, the X1 only gives you 5 fixed factory TonePrint slots and only 1 single user TonePrint slot. So in my opinion, this is extremely limiting. It means, for example, that if I want to have 2 user TonePrints for a flashback delay, I need to have the flashback delay in 2 different effect slots so that I can have my user TonePrints. I found this very limited. I reached out to TC Electronic. They mentioned they actually consider having more user TonePrints per effect slot during the development, but they ended up dropping it because of UI limitations. One advantage of the X1 is that it's got 3 knobs per effect. This means that you can very easily tweak all of the main parameters of that effect on the fly. For example, for the delay, you can very easily control the time, the feedback, and the level. So it's a way closer experience to the original TonePrint pedals or to just regular analog pedals. With the X3 and the X5, you have 1 knob per effect. You can choose which parameter you want to control with the knob. But if you want to change any of the other parameters, you need to go down, put the pedal in edit mode, and then change the parameter. So this is a bit more annoying. Another thing that the X1 has going for it is that it's the only one that's analog true. So with the X3 and X5, the whole signal chain goes through the analog to digital converters. The X5 even has got an effects loop, which is an advantage, but in this case, the whole signal path 2 times through the analog to digital conversions, which creates a bit of more latency. Honestly, I don't think this is perceptible to the human ear, but if you start combining this with other digital pedals, so if you use this with a Helix or other digital units, then you start to stack up different latencies and it might become perceptible. This could also be a problem if you're using these pedals in a multi-amp setup, and this can create phasings between the different speakers if one of them is a few milliseconds behind the other one. All of the 3 offer stereo in and out and the option between true or buffered bypass. The X5 is the only one who has got an effects loop and a connection to an external expression pedal. Then we have 3 features that were reserved for the big boys, so excluded from the X1, and these are the cabinet simulation, tuner, and MIDI. Now, the cabinet simulation I tried before in the X5, and to be honest, I found it quite garbage. I think whatever impulse response you can find on the internet sounds much better than whatever technology TC Electronic used for this. I know they updated the cabinet simulation since I tested them. I will be curious to try them again, but I'm still rather skeptical. Then tuner would be a very nice feature to have in the X1. I can understand why they left it out. It's a small screen. They probably will need to design the UI from scratch. But honestly, if I could dedicate one of the 7 slots to a tuner, I think for a small board it will make a lot of sense. Could be a bit annoying because you need to use the rotary knob to access the tuner, but for a small board, if it saves space for another overdrive, I would probably still take that option. Finally, we have MIDI. I personally don't use that, but I know it's a must-have feature for many of you guys, so in this case you are bound to go for the X3 or the X5. In terms of pricing, here in Germany, the X1 goes for 170, the X3 for 290, and the X5 for 470 euros. And if you consider the price per effect slot, the X1 is the absolute loser, while the X3 and the X5 are actually not that far apart. But if you consider the X5 has additional features like the effects loop and the expression pedal connectivity, then I think the X5 is really the best value for money. However, I think each one of them have their own place. I think the X1 is a killer pedal in terms of flexibility. You can slap that as sort of a joker pedal in a small pedal board, and that's basically how I plan to use it. So combine analog overdrives and analog modulations and basically rely on the X1 for my reverbs and delay. But if I needed to do any other sound like a pitch shift or any modulation that I don't have in the board, it can very easily take up that role. Then the X3 is also a nice step up. I mean, every board needs one modulation, delay and reverb, and with the X3 you can cover all of that, and if you add 1 true gain stages on top, you get a very nice compact and super flexible pedal board for gigging. I'll be very curious to see what comes up next. I would really like to see if there is an X2 on the making. So that's all for today. I really hope this video was helpful to you. If that's the case, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more guitar, bass and gear related content, including my upcoming review of the Plethora X1, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay tuned. Also, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to support the Bedroom Rocker YouTube channel, then make sure to use my affiliate links in the description box down below. If you use them, I earn a small commission, and this really helps me to get the channel going and getting additional products for making reviews like this one at no additional cost for you. So keep on rocking and cheers!